Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, today we are going to reveal everything, and I mean everything, about the Galaxy Note 8 that we know up to this point, and I'm going to correct some things that VentureBeat and other people have been saying about the Note 8, and kind of what we're actually going to get. And then also, of course, updating you on the iPhone X, because we now both have their price points and their launch dates of both devices. Yes, it's good to have sources in Apple and it's good to have sources in Samsung so that you get to know everything. And now let's get to it. All right, so first and foremost, with the Galaxy, got my live chat. All right, with the Galaxy Note 8, it is rumored that we are getting the unveiling on the Note 8 in August 26th, live event in New York. Now, of course, this is later than we typically get it, but this is because both Samsung and Apple are launching a month later than they typically do. So August 26th is before IFA, which is going to start on my birthday on September 1st. So since IFA is starting then, you're actually going to get this beforehand. So the Note 8 will be announced August 26th, and then it's going to come out mid-September. But when in September? Well, that's easy. Let's just take a look. So with this, you can expect it to be coming out September 15th. So September 15th will be the launch date of the Note 8. But here's the crazy part. Apple will be the Tuesday after that, or the Wednesday after that. Now, typically, Apple does a 10-day announcement to launch ratio. Now, they have changed that in years past, recently, where giving more than 10 days, and this one is definitely going to be more. So Apple is most likely going to announce the iPhones, all three of them. There's going to be 3 iPhones this year, if you haven't kept up with the channel. There's going to be 3 iPhones this year, and they will be announced on September 20th. So Apple will announce their September 20th, and they're most likely going to be coming out either October 6th or October 13th. So both have been officially pushed back about a month from their normal launch time. So that's the really interesting part, is that they are both going to be pushed back comparing to what they were originally scheduled for. Now, here's the thing about it. We have now the announcement date for the Note 8, but what about pricing? What about features? Well, VentureBeat did an article about this, and Evan Blast retweeted it. And I want to go over what they said and what I actually believe is going to happen. So first of all, the big thing was how much it will cost. And they said $9.99 in terms of, I forget what that logo is. I want to say it's euros. Let's see, is that euros? Yes, that is euros, which of course when you translate it would be over $1,000. Don't worry, that's not what happens. It's not whatever happens actually. If it is $999, it is usually $999 across the board. However, Samsung is doing some finagling. So first off, before we get to the price point that the Note 8 will actually be at, let's go over the price point that the S8 Plus launched at. The S8 Plus launched at a standardized price for an unlocked model of $825. Now, if you go to any carrier, though, you're going to get different prices. At Sprint, $850. AT&T, $850. Verizon, $840. And T-Mobile, $790. So depending on the carrier you get is going to determine how much you pay for this device. So that being said, $850 you could say is kind of the average price, right? From $825 to $850, $850 is the more standardized price. The Galaxy Note 8 will be coming in at a standard price of, I believe, $950. Now, it will vary between carriers, as this S8 Plus did, as we just went over. It will vary between carriers, and I believe you're going to get a price point range of $925 all the way up to $999. Again, carriers will determine the price point. If you didn't know, this is how it works. Carriers buy the phone from the manufacturer at the wholesale price, and then the manufacturer has a suggested retail price, but the carriers can choose whatever the price point is. So that's the big thing about the Note 8, will be that it's going to be from $925 all the way to $999 depending on the carrier. And as you saw, T-Mobile in this case is the cheapest one right now, followed by Verizon, and AT&T and Sprint are the most expensive. So keep all that in mind. All right, now we're going to get to what is the Note 8 going to have. We know the announcement date is August 26th. The release date is September 15th, most likely. And you're going to get the price point coming from $925 to $999. But what is you getting for that price? So here's the thing. It's going to be a 6.3-inch display, not a 6.2. It's going to be slightly bigger than the S8 Plus. So we're either getting 6.3 or we're getting 6.4, but this is going to be the actual range in terms of size. It's going to be slightly taller than the S8 Plus and slightly wider. Now, that being said, of course you're getting an S Pen. The main difference, though, in speed is the processor, sorry guys, is going to be the same. You're going to get the same Snapdragon 835 processor, which is, keep in mind what happened last year. The Note 7 had the same processor as the S7. But this time around, Samsung is going to do the smart thing and put it with more RAM. So you're getting 6 gigs of RAM on this device. And yes, this is what's going to happen. It will be 6 gigs of RAM on the Note 8 that you are getting, and that is a definite. Now, what was curious though is are the cameras going to change at all? Well, yes, we are getting the dual cameras, so you're definitely going to have the dual cameras on this device. And a lot of people are saying, of course, well, what about the fingerprint scanner? That's the big thing. So as of right now, we still do not know about the fingerprint scanner. However, we do know that is why Apple is having their delay. Apple is having their delay because of the fingerprint scanner. So we know that. Is Samsung having their delay because of the fingerprint scanner? We do not know that. We do not know if Samsung is going to try to still do it on the screen, which means they'll sell less because they're going to have less inventory, or is Samsung going to try to put it on the sidebar, so basically on the power button, which other manufacturers have done. Sony Mobile, other devices have done it on the power button. But, or is Samsung going to have it on the back just like the S8 Plus? That is the question that we still do not know, and that's the last piece of the puzzle that we don't know yet about the Note 8. Now, you're going to have huge software improvements. For those of you who don't believe that software makes a difference, it was amazing how much of an improvement the S8 software was from the S7 Edge. Anytime anyone asked me, oh, but is the S8 really worth an upgrade from the S7 Edge in terms of speed or performance? Absolutely. The S8 was a lot less buggy and it was perfected. The software was so much better than the S7's crappy upgrade to Android Nougat. It was really bad, so I just really think that it was so much better this way. Now, there is also a rumor that Samsung is not going to have any fingerprint scanner. What would you guys think about that? Just no fingerprint scanner at all and just go full in with the Retina scanner. Or sorry, not the Retina scanner, the Iris scanner. I think that would be a very interesting move by Samsung, but will they actually do that? I don't think that's a good idea, quite frankly, because as much as I do not like having it on the back, I at least use it at times. However, if it's not there at all, I would have a problem with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If they have no fingerprint scanner, would you be okay with that? Now, finally, the biggest thing that I do not believe about this Venture Beat article is that the Note 8 will have a 3,300 milliamp battery. That is not true. At lowest they're going to have is a 3,500 milliamp battery. Now, the reason why Venture Beat is saying this is because they're saying that they're going to try to fit it in the same body of the S8 Plus in terms of the thickness, but since they're worried about, again, obviously batteries and fires and all that kind of stuff, they are going to have it in a smaller enclosure. So they are thinking about changing that, of course, right? So you're thinking about, okay, let's put it in a 3,300 milliamp battery just in case, They're not doing this. They're not doing this. I do not believe they would do it. Quite frankly, I think Samsung would lose a lot of sales if they attempted this. Let me know what you guys think, though. If it is a smaller battery than the S8 Plus, I think that's the technologically and spec suicide. I don't care how scared they are of the battery, they should not do it, in my opinion. Let me know, again, what you guys think. Alright, other than that, of course, we're going to have other software enhancements. You're going to have different things from the S Pen. You're going to have all this kind of stuff. Yes, that is true. Alright, guys, so that was my take on the article and what VentureBeat got right and what VentureBeat got wrong in terms of it. So, yeah. Alright, now let's get to the iPhone 8, or as we actually know it in the channel, the iPhone X. If you haven't followed us for a long time, I have no doubt that there will not be an iPhone 8 this year. iPhone 8 will be next year. This year will be called either the iPhone X or the Apple phone or the Apple Edition phone. That's what it's going to be called, just like we have seen other things from Apple in terms of name change, but they're not going to have an 8 this year as far as I've heard. Everything from my internal sources at Apple have told me no. So, here's the thing. They have suppliers that have leaked that the timeline is looking like October. And again, that's why I told you guys earlier that yes, that is true. Apple is going to release their phone in October, and they're announcing it towards the 3rd week of September. So during the 3rd week of September is when we're going to get Apple's announcement. If Apple is interesting, though, they are in talks to move it up. Why? Because think about this. If Samsung is launching their Note 8 on September 15th, right? If they're launching their Note 8 September 15th, what if Apple announces their iPhone the week of? They could try to take all of Samsung's wind out of their storm. That would be insane, but it would be smart business. So here's the thing. Can Samsung expect this and try to move their date up? Because as of right now, that's what we're looking at, right? We're looking at Samsung typically announces and comes out with 3 to 4 weeks later. Traditionally, it's been 3 weeks, but typically comes out 3 to 4 weeks later. Yeah, what the heck? If they do that, I would think it's going to be really interesting to see if they will actually do that. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Apple would move it up? As of right now, they have no plans to move it up, but I think that would be very interesting if they would move it up and do that. So let me know what you guys think again in the comment section down below. All right, now we also have the iPhone dummy being revealed, and again, this is kind of some just things we've seen, and it's pretty much just what we've seen. So I don't want to show the whole video, but that is a dummy that someone printed out of the iPhone. And if you remember, 2 weeks ago, I said before the end of June, we will see a fully assembled iPhone, iPhone 8, iPhone X, Apple phone, and sure enough, we already have. So yes, we've seen it fully assembled now. It's all that we have. This article is from 9 to 5 Mac, where the video was first released. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, go ahead and check it out there after the show, of course. But we have seen a fully assembled one. Now this is with no logos. I will say before the end of July, you're going to see a fully assembled one with logos. Now, in other news, I do like to mention this because as far as you always have heard from me, I feel like a lot of people, especially in the US, don't realize how big Samsung is compared to other companies. Well, here's the thing. Samsung actually beat every other company in the world in profit for Q2. Profit. See, Samsung has almost always beat most companies in revenue, including Apple. They have almost always beaten Apple in revenue. But Samsung spends a lot of money. They spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of money on research and development, spend a lot of money on a lot of things, but not on everything, right? So here's the thing. They actually will get a net profit this coming time of 11.6 was what they were projected at, but it's looking like they're actually going to get 12.3 billion. 12.3 billion this quarter. That is of course due to the S8 sales and a huge spike in their sales, not to mention their processors, everything, right? Here's the thing. Because of that operating profit, that will be more than Facebook, than Amazon, than Netflix, than Google combined. Yeah, I said combined. But not only that, Apple is looking to get 10.55 billion. So Samsung is almost beating them by $2 billion in terms of net profit. And remember, when it comes to things like research and development, Samsung spends a lot more money than Apple does, almost 3 times as much sometimes. So it really does make a difference. And I just like to share these kind of videos with you, these topics with you guys, because again, I don't feel that enough people know just how much bigger Samsung is compared to Apple outside of the US. Alright, and now we are also getting LG's Enhanced G+. Now this is only being released in Korea to launch LG Pay. So LG Pay is coming out in Korea. There's no word on if it's coming to the US. What is the difference? Well, it's going to have the standard 6 gigs of RAM, so we did get that, and it's going to be in different colors, and that's about it. We haven't heard too much more than it. It's going to have the built-in DAC on all the versions from it, but we don't know if this will come anywhere else outside of Korea yet, so we're waiting to see that. I will definitely see and ask our LG rep to see if they can ship us one of those so we can see the differences compared to the G6. And for the last bit, we're just going to talk about Samsung's next Gear VR. So Gear VRs and Gear watches come out at the same time as the Note. So when the Note 8 comes out, the Gear S4 will be announced and the next Gear VR will be announced. Now, that being said, this is supposed to have a huge difference, and that is the fact that although we have a current VR that works with a phone, we might have a standalone VR coming up. What do I mean by that? I mean that they're working on a standalone Gear VR that can have over 2,000 pixels per inch. Just to give you an idea, the current VR with your phone inside of it is at about 500, not even at 600 yet. But under 600, basically 570 at most, 460 at least with the S8. So that being said, it is really amazing if this happens. You're looking at more of a 4K display instead of a 2K display, but even beyond that, really. So I'm really curious to see how this will be and if we're going to be going to the price point of other VR systems. Is this going to be $400 for a standalone Samsung Gear VR, and will it have motion controls? What will it have? What would you like to see in a standalone VR from Samsung? Just curious, guys, let me know. Alright, and the last bit, ending with VR again, and that is Samsung is broadening their VR sports. For those of you who don't know, I told you guys a while back, any sport, if you watch sports, you should own a Samsung Gear VR. Why? Because you actually get almost every sport. All the NBA Finals were on the Gear VR, front row seats, live streamed. March Madness, live streamed. Boxing matches, live streamed. UFC fights, live streamed. MLB is now coming to the VR as well. You also get NASCAR, Indy 500, to Kentucky Derby, all those kind of things, by the way. So there are almost every sport on VR. So if you are a sports fan, you literally are front row, or you're in the front. As you can see here, you're basically behind home base, watching everything happen in VR. So for the best seats in the house, you can get a VR, and it really is amazing, especially if you put noise cancellation headphones on. You feel like you're there. It's something I definitely recommend you try. Every time I've shown people, they've been wowed by it. Let me know if you have tried it and what do you think about it. Alright guys, that is all for the news, but I see the comment section is going crazy right now, so let's answer your questions. Again, if you are new to the show, we try to answer every single question you guys ask, so ask your questions in the comment section right now, and I will answer them before the end of the show. Okay. Will this device, you think, work with the Nexus VR? So I'm guessing you're talking about like a new VR that would come out later, because there is no Nexus VR as far as I know yet. There is this VR, Daydream, the Daydream VR that almost nothing works for, and the S8 will eventually finally work with this, and then you can actually use it. But yeah, I mean, it hasn't been that popular until Samsung updates it in the next 2 months to work with this. It almost no phones have really worked with the Daydream. So will it work with the Daydream? Maybe eventually, but I don't know if at launch. Which phone will be better, the Note 8 or the X? I'm assuming you're talking about the iPhone X. The Galaxy X, the bendable phone, did get pushed back to next year. I have gotten confirmation on that now. It has been pushed back. However, so the Note 8 versus the iPhone X, it's impossible to say right now. Once we get more details on the actual fingerprint scanner, I think that is going to make a serious impact. Also, we're hearing different things that Samsung might not put stereo speakers on the Note 8 now, which again would be really stupid. So hopefully they do that, but I think if they don't do that, they're again just missing out and never having the perfect phone without those stereo speakers. Hey, September 15th is my birthday. Well, congratulations, Evolution. You might just get a Note 8 that time on that day. Or actually even better, remember, if you always pre-order Samsung smartphones, they generally come that Monday when they're supposed to launch Friday. So maybe if you pre-order it, you might just get it even before your birthday. So that way you can take all those beautiful selfies on your birthday. Go over fingerprint scanner. Fingerprint scanner is the big thing that we do not know yet on the Note 8. And although we're 90% sure at this point for the iPhone that it's going to be on the screen, there is also a 10% chance for the iPhone that they will have it on the power button as well. Power button is being talked about more and more right now with these companies simply because they still do not have a finalized manufacturer that can produce that many fingerprint scanners for a screen. Right now, Samsung and Apple are trying to figure this out right now. It is still not figured out, and that is why both have pushed back their launch dates. Let's see. I have an S8. How do I get Bixby Talk? I'm on T-Mobile. Unfortunately, the beta program closed, so I still have it because I did sign up for the beta. You can no longer sign up for it as far as I know. So right now it's just beta testers and they are upgrading it. I've gotten 2 upgrades since Bixby was launched. So they are upgrading it, so we'll get more upgrades as it comes along. And I will do the Q&A probably by Friday. I'm going to do the Bixby viewer Q&A. So if you haven't seen our video on our first impressions on Bixby, go back to that video. Ask your questions you want me to ask Bixby. And Bixby just popped up right now. So ask your questions you want me to ask Bixby, and I will ask them on the show. And Bixby keeps thinking I'm talking to him. So yeah. My birthday is coming up, so what tablet should I get? I want to get a big tablet. It really depends on what you're looking for. Actually, tomorrow, I believe, I want to say it's tomorrow or Tuesday, we have a video coming out. I've already made every video for the next week. Tomorrow, I believe, we have a video coming out on the best tablet for a basic user. I actually just got this because my dad's birthday was on Friday, and I got him a new tablet. He's a very basic user. He wanted a 10-inch tab. I know he wanted a 10-inch tablet because, you know, his eyes are strained and it's hard to see things. So I made it sure that it was a 1080p display and that it was a tablet that he could really like. It was on sale for about $200 at the time. Now it's all the way back up to normal price at $300, but it's a Galaxy Tab A 10.1. It was going for $200, so really good deal for it that I got. It was on sale for, what was it, Memorial Day weekend or Father's Day? I think it was Father's Day, actually. I think it was Father's Day when I got it, and it was on sale, so I picked it up, I got it, and he loved it. He liked the idea that, you know, the magnetic screen. He never had a tablet that, you know, with the official Samsung case, so when you open it, it turns on, and when you close it, it turns off. He really liked that, so he's definitely liked it for that purpose. But if you want the best tablet, I mean, right now, I really am in love with the Galaxy Tab S3 with the S Pen for a tablet. However, if you're looking for a, you know, all-purpose tablet, I still have my my Surface Pro 3. It is still, for my money, the best tablet in terms of productivity. However, you can probably get a Surface Pro 4 now for under $800 because the new Surface and then the new Surface after that came out. So you can probably get the Surface Pro for under $800. So if you really want a quality like things you can do everything with, that would be the best. So it depends on what you're looking for in a tablet. Have you tried the new Gear 360? I have not tried the new Gear 360. I am debating on getting it right now, but yeah, I'm debating on getting it right now. I'll see. 950 sounds like it's true. Yeah, I would say 950 is going to pretty much be the price point. Can you review budget phones like ZTE, Maze, budget Samsung, LG phones for the people that want a smartphone on a budget? I'm glad you asked that, shorty boy. I actually have, reached out to those companies several times. I am happy to announce that I want to make sure I get their name right. We have heard from... I just got an updated email from them. From a company called GearBeast. Now, they are a website that has a lot of great products. And they are actually working on getting us the Maze, the one you talked about. For those of you who don't know, it's around a $200 phone that almost has no bezels whatsoever. Really amazing looking phone. I'm going to be reviewing it. And it's really great because you get quality style and look of a phone for a $200 price range. It's insane. I have not heard back from Moto yet, which normally they send us their phones. We've not reviewed their phones for this year, which kind of sucks. And in terms of budget Samsungs and budget LGs, I will consider doing that more often. It's just kind of figuring everything out right now. And I've also talked to ZTE. They now know to possibly send us an Axon Mini. I finally got in contact with them. It was funny because they were telling me like, hey, this new update for the Axon Mini. And I told them like, hey guys, I would love to tell my viewers about this huge update to the Axon Mini, but I don't have one. Can you send me one? And the guy was great. He got in touch with his supervisor and told me he would try to send me an Axon Mini, and he would try to put us on the list for the next Axon launch. So definitely would love to do that for you guys. However, the real way to get these people's attention is from you guys. If you guys can, you see right over here, that's my social media. This is right here my social media. So at the YouTube Tech Guy, your guys' voice goes a long way. So if you guys want me to review a phone from a company, message them. I know it takes a few seconds, guys. I know it's a little out of your way sometimes, but I can't tell you how much it gets to them. If they see 5 people, message them the same thing, hey, at Samsung Mobile USA, hey, at LG Mobile, hey, at ZTE Corp, hey, at Maze, if they see that, if they see at OnePlus, send at the YouTube Tech Guy this phone to review, that gets their attention. But it has to be multiple people. If it's just, I'm so thankful for you guys that have, but if it's one person, just one person here, they might not pay attention to it. But man, if you guys, at least 5 people, I mean, what we have, how many people watching right now? We have over 400 people watching right now. If you guys, or the ones that view after, if you guys can do that, I mean, that's what gets us these phones. So I'm more than happy to always try to get stuff for the channel. But yeah, if we can get it shipped to us, we can review a lot more stuff and really kind of give you guys the full run through. I'm glad we finally got the G6. LG did finally send it to us. And again, it was because of you guys. A few of you had messaged them on social media, especially Twitter, multiple times telling us to send us one. And that's how we got it. We got the LG from them, and that is how I got this phone. I got the G6 because of you guys. So it definitely helps out when you guys step in. All right, sorry I went off on that long tangent. He didn't say about stereo speakers. Yeah, again, we do not know about stereo speakers yet at this time. What's your weight? Thank you for asking, shorty boy. Next week I will weigh in. I have been extremely busy, but I had a lot of stuff happen this week. Don't really feel like going into it right now. Just let's say it was a pretty bad week. But I'm doing everything I can right now to turn everything around and make things better. So that being said, I'll be doing more videos this week and a lot of other things. And I'm going to really try to get my fitness really going strong for that purpose. So yeah, I will weigh in next week. And we're going to keep this up from now on. I promise. All right. Will you leave the Note 8 charging on its own? What do you mean by that? TFR56, will you leave the Note 8 charging on its own? Do you mean charging on a wireless charger? Sure, but I'm not sure what you mean by charging on its own. Power button, please. Yeah, I think a lot of people want that fingerprint scanner on the power button. I think that would be a great place for it. How is the performance and battery life on the Snapdragon S8 compared to the Exynos S8? So, as what we've seen from most companies, most phones from Samsung, the Snapdragon tends to do a little bit better with battery life. However, the Exynos is a better performer and has less lag. So that's pretty much what the S8 got from my S8 Plus, the Exynos version that I have here, and the Snapdragon version I also have here. Watching movies on the iPad 12.9 is incredible. Yeah, no, that screen is really nice. The fluidity of it is looking really great, and it definitely stands out for it. Hi, Ricky. Is it true that Samsung is going to put out a Emperor edition of the Note 8 with 8 gigs of RAM? So here's the thing. Samsung might release a special edition of the Note 8 in Korea and China. Again, this is par for the course, guys. They do this every year with the S series. There is a rumor now that they'll also do with the Note series. It is not confirmed, but this is a rumor right now. Yes, it is a rumor. Guys, if you got the S8 Plus, the Note 8 won't be a huge of a big deal. Not sure about that. In my opinion, software upgrade alone might make it worth it, but I'll let you know as soon as I find out everything. It doesn't bother me about the fingerprint scanner. I never use it. That's interesting. I hope Samsung doesn't do the retina scanner. I don't want to put my phone in my face when I use Samsung Pay. I understand that. It's confirmed that the Note 8 will not have a fingerprint scanner. Venture Beats said fingerprint scanner on the Note 8 will be in the same spot as the S8, but further. Venture Beats said that, but I've heard differently. And trust me, I have my own sources inside of Samsung. I've asked my people in Korea, and they're not confirmed yet. Let's just say that. Smaller battery, no phone for me. Yeah, that's a big thing. They are very cautious with the battery. Who knows? They are very cautious, but they can't be stupidly cautious. Samsung is a Korean company, and Korean culture, you're very paranoid of being sued. Very paranoid of being sued. I mean, you will have no idea the extent they'll go to just to not be sued. It's insane. But they're gonna do a lot of things to not be sued. So if they're worried about everything going down as the Note 7 did, yes, I'm not going to put it past them. They might not make a smaller battery, but I think it's spec suicide. I'm not sure the Note 8 will have at least the 3500 if it hasn't. If the S8 Plus has it, no excuses. I agree. No matter what, make the phone thicker. If you did see our video on what's missing with the S8 Plus, again, Samsung, you have permission. You have our permission. Make the phone thicker and give us a bigger battery. We're okay with that. We're okay. You can make the phone thicker. We won't be pissed off. We'll be like, hey, you know what? It has a longer battery life. It has double the battery life of your phone. Whatever. We would love to say that more than, oh, look how thin this phone is. We don't care. We don't care. If it's still safe to leave the S8 on a wireless charger overnight, even if it's a Samsung charger, yes, it is safe to leave it charging overnight on a wireless charger, period. It's the N64's 21st anniversary. What is your N64 game? I mean, no matter what, at the end of the day, when you think of N64, there are 3 or 4 titles that come to it, but I have to give it to the one, the console seller, GoldenEye. GoldenEye was it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love, of course, the Mario Kart. I mean, that was also the birth of the Mario parties. That was also, of course, Perfect Dark, which improved everything that GoldenEye had. You also, of course, have Mario 64 itself. You have Smash Brothers coming into the fold. And you had a lot of great things and amazing wrestling games. But at the end of the day, GoldenEye is what sold the console. GoldenEye was the most fun. I had so many friends always come to my house. They brought their controller, and we plugged up 4 controllers and we played GoldenEye. It was my favorite. It's one of my memories, favorite memories as in my childhood of playing a 4-player game. They were just so much fun, and I give complete contribution Nintendo for doing that. They innovated it in not just 2 players, but 4 players. Was amazing. Go over if the Note 8 will have stereo speakers or not, please. Unfortunately, I'm hearing one iteration of the Note 8 might not have that. Now, what I mean by one iteration is they're not complete on it yet, so we'll have to wait and see. I'll let you know, though, as soon as I hear anything. Boom shakalaka. Sorry, I thought back to my NBA Jam days. And NFL Blitz. Ricky, I want to thank you once again for the Slick Deals app. I was able to buy an S7 Edge for $214 including tax a month and a half ago. I'm keeping a solid backup. Wow, that is an awesome deal. Yeah, guys, if you haven't heard, I literally check this pretty much almost every day. There is a great app called Slick Deals. And if you wanted the spelling, Boom Shakalaka posted it in the chat right now. Slick Deals app is the best app to get your best deals. It's how I got my tablet for $200. So yeah, definitely the best way to do it. Whoa, sorry, a bunch of questions just loaded. All right, I'll leave my S8 on the charger, especially new and convertible one, because of the fan built in. Yep, it's really good. How about the battery longevity? The battery longevity in terms of my S8 has not gone down really. It does still last a long time, and it's really great. Again, I've always been paranoid about my battery life, so when my battery life gets to like 50, it's dead to me. It's like I've always I need to always be above 50, but that's how I am. I always like to keep it above 50. That's just me. So, but all in all, I mean, yeah, even on long days when I'm out, I can relax and I don't have to worry about my phone ever dying. Like, even after a long day of not charging it all day and using it all day, I've been at like the movie theater and I was like, man, I haven't got to charge my phone all day, and it was at 35%. To me, that's like, oh my god, it's about to die. But that was the end of the night at like 11 p.m. after unplugging it in the morning. So yeah. The S8 launched late. I expect the Note 8 to launch late as well because of battery issues with the Note 7, of course. Hey, Quiet Storm. Greetings, ROCKY. How you been this week? I would prefer bigger battery in my Note 8. I would too, but it does not look like... I will tell you this. It does not look like we're getting a bigger battery on the Note 8. And that's understandable. Look, we do not have to get bigger than 3,500, but we also should not get less than 3,500. I don't care what BS Samsung might spin to make it sound okay. It will not be okay. Like the amount of times you can change it before the battery fills and full it. Oh, so here's the thing. People ask always, like, what's the cycle count on a battery? Cycle counts on batteries for your smartphones range from 200 to 400. Now, what that means is once you get to that point, you are going to have poor battery life. Your battery cannot hold a full charge anymore. And that's when you would want to get your battery changed out. However, things speed up that. So it's not a definite stance. Even from the manufacturer, they will say it's approximately this many, but they're not going to say the exact amount. So here's the thing. when it comes to battery life on a smartphone, you're really going to get a year, no problem. However, if you use wireless charging, you're not going to get the heat that gets created from a direct plug-in. And direct plug-ins, after it hits 100%, go to trickle charging. It's a whole thing. But more importantly, it heats up your phone, which shortens the cycle count, which speeds up your battery going bad. So there you go. Samsung is consistently losing market share year over year. No, they're not really. They lost market share last year, the year before. When the S7 came out, they had gained incredible market share. The S7 was the start of Samsung's rise back, and the Note 7 sent them crashing down. So no, they're not losing market share year over year. In fact, I guarantee you this quarter, as we're seeing Q2, they're going to be the highest profit company. You're going to see how much more market share they have gained in just one quarter. And you're going to see that because the S7 and the Note 7, all those customers upgraded to the S8, and that's why. Do you like the way the iPhone X looks so far? I think the iPhone X is honestly something like we've seen before, kind of thing. Like, it looks like the iPhone 4 in an iPhone 7 body to me. That's what I see when I see the iPhone X. I think it's an evolution of Apple. I don't think it's groundbreaking, I will say that. I think the groundbreaking is going to be when we see the display on in the front, and when we see that fingerprint scanner on the front. That's going to be that wow factor. Was your first console game ever? My first console game was the Super Nintendo. My cousin had the NES, the Nintendo, and we played it over at my grandma's house when I was a kid. But my first console that I owned was the Super Nintendo. Now, don't get me wrong, I also owned a Sega Genesis. Not too many months after that, I was spoiled. I got both. And pretty much from there, I owned every mainstream regular console. I did also own a Game Boy. I never owned a Game Gear. My cousin owned the Game Gear. And I never owned a PSP. I did own a I think 3DS. I didn't own the no, I did have the Game Boy Advance, but that was it for portable. I really didn't have that many portables. More so though, I had every major game console with the exception of Xbox. So I did have I've owned every single Nintendo console. I've owned every single Nintendo console from Super Nintendo to Switch. So 64, GameCube, why can't I think of the one? Wii U, I've owned, and Switch, I've owned all of them, and I've owned every single PlayStation. So PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, owned them, got them all day one. I have never owned an Xbox, and the reason why is because I've always had game-level desktops. So any game that Xbox had, I can generally play on my PC, and I could play it with an Xbox controller even if I wanted to. I want to see WWE on VR. So WWE did do VR about 2 years ago. They did do VR in its infancy, and you were on the ring side. But here's the thing, WWE really has grown into their WWE, their streaming service. I can't think of their streaming service. WWE Network. As soon as they did that, they were like, we're not going to give this away for free. We want them to go to our network, so they stopped doing VR. Ricky, the current rumors have the Note 8 at having 3,300 milliamp battery, Snapdragon 835, leading to believe once again the S8 Plus with S Pen dual cameras. Only thing I'm excited. Again, there will be more. I guarantee you, Samsung always does little software tricks to help out, and it's just the refinement sometimes. What's this month's giveaway? This month's giveaway is the LG Tone Freeze. So the LG Tone Freeze, and do I have those here? Knock some stuff down right now. So these headphones that give you completely wireless headphones right here and right here. So these completely wireless design headphones are in the giveaway. as well as a LifeX strip. Again, that is the light strip that is right in front of me. So that one as well is going to be available as well. So we're going to do 2 giveaways, and we've actually had a third. It's just a little $30 flash drive that I am going to unbox and do a video. I'm not going to unbox. I'm just going to like show you it and kind of show it off and just tell you my thoughts on it, because I don't want to unbox it and then send it to you without a package. So I'm just going to send it like that. But so 3 things for the giveaway this month, and those are all coming this month. We have the Amazon show coming in 3 days. So that's going to be the giveaway for July. And we're also going to have some other stuff, including we're going to have another giveaway when we get to the 200,000 subscribers. So stay tuned for that. We're at 189 right now. I believe we're at 189. Let's see. What are we at currently right now? Let me do a refresh just so we get the most up-to-date subscriber count. We are at 188,800. So when we get to 200,000 subscribers, we will be giving away at least 1 phone, maybe more than 1 phone. So stay tuned for that. I noticed that when my phone's battery gets to 102 degrees, it stops charging. I've noticed this on my other phones. Is this natural? Yes. Samsung especially is taking more precaution with this. I live in Van Nuys, basically. So it is a very extremely hot area in Los Angeles. And I can't wait to move away from here. But that being said, my degrees today was 108 degrees. So often when I put my phone in the dashboard, it gets really hot and it tells me I've stopped charging. So a quick way to fix that, by the way, is to take it out and immediately put the AC on full blast, hit the back of it for about 15 seconds, and it will be able to charge again after, because you've now cooled the phone's temperature down. Another great way, if your phone's ever too hot and you have a wireless charger with you, put this in water. Just you know, put it in water, put it in some cold sink water, cool it down. It'll then be cool. You can't plug it in here then, but you can wirelessly charge it. How do you get sport events on the VR? How do you get sport events on the VR is by downloading NextVR. So you go to the Oculus app, Oculus store in your VR, and you download NextVR. That has the majority of the sports. Also, Fox Sports VR is on there, and sometimes you'll get special ones that are obvious, like the Olympics were on there. So most Olympics you could actually see in 360. I saw the pool one. A lot of the pool ones actually I saw in 360 live stream, so they were pretty cool. When are you coming out with your Bixby review? I like it for doing tasks on my phone. I like it for doing tasks too, and that's really what it is. I'm thinking about even doing a video on the difference of Bixby. Samsung explains it to me as a concierge versus an assistant. This isn't a thing that's going to kind of answer questions. It's not going to be like, oh, can you tell me what this is? Like, that's not its purpose. It's not an assistant. It's a concierge is how they put it. So meaning that they are kind of saying it's to get things done. What you want done, it's going to get done. And that's what they see it as more so. Do you think the Note 8 is too expensive? I think the Note 8 is unfortunately matching with the iPhone X. For those of you who don't know, the iPhone X is going to be $1,069. The Note 8, as we discussed earlier, will be from $925 to $1,000. So at $950 average. So you're looking at $950 versus $1,069. These are the two high-end flagship phones that everyone's going to want by the end of the year. These two are going to be competing for the best smartphone of the year, and that's going to be the interesting one. Are you going to get the Note 7 FE Flammable Edition? Timothy, that's really awesome. No, I'm not going to get the Note FE, unfortunately. What color SA Plus should I get? So here's the thing. The SA Plus might be coming out in blue in July. We hear from Evan Blast that the S8 is coming out in coral blue soon, which I love the coral blue on the S7. I would personally wait for that, but it's up to you if you want to. Thoughts on the Tab Pro S? I'm having my eye on one. The original Tab Pro S was really good. I definitely had it. Oh, sorry, the Tab Pro S. The Tab Pro S I do not recommend, unfortunately. Here's why. It has an M3 processor, which is basically worthless in my opinion. I mean, there are a lot better tablets out there. You can get a Surface Pro 3, like the one I have, is worlds better than that stuff. The only thing the Tab Pro S has going for it is its screen. It's an OLED display. Other than that, though, it's not a good computer for the price, and that's what it is. It's competing with computers. The keyboard case is not as good as the Surface either. So in my opinion, the Surface would be better. It's heavier compared to the Tab Pro S. But if you want to get a Samsung tablet computer, get the Galaxy Book. It is worth the upgrade for not having the M processor, because the M3 is just worthless to me. I mean, unless you're just using it for internet and typing up messages or typing up documents, that's it. That's fine. But an M3 processor is so slow to me that I can't recommend it to anyone. I would not get an M3 processor for my mom that does do what I just described, internet browsing and typing documents. That's all she would do with it. However, I would not recommend it for. I wouldn't recommend it for my brother, which would again do the same stuff, more Excel spreadsheets as well. But that's it. I would recommend a minimum of an i5 processor for anyone. Why? Because you're getting everything you need for a longer period. I don't want to recommend a laptop or a tablet for you that's a $400 plus investment and that isn't going to last you for 3 to 5 years. And if it's not going to last you that long and you're going to be frustrated with how slow it is after a year, I don't want to recommend that, and that's why I wouldn't recommend the Tab Pro S. What is better, Daydream VR or Gear VR? Absolutely, Gear VR is way better than Daydream VR, and just because of the support. The Oculus Store, the Gear VR has more apps for it than pretty much any other VR out there. All VR systems are lacking compared to Oculus. Oculus does have the most content, followed by Vive, but because more people own a Gear VR compared to every other VR system combined, that's why developers develop more for the Gear VR. The Gear VR is purchased more than the Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive, the PlayStation VR, and the Daydream VR all combined. Why? Because Samsung's given a lot of them for free. There are millions of people, over 5 million people that have a Gear VR. I believe when the S7 launched, I think it was at some point last year, there were over 10 million people that had a Gear VR. We covered it on our show one time, but yeah, so there's just so many more out there. Come on, Ricky. Please answer the question. We know you always get the note early. I don't know. Samsung might have been mad at me for leaking so much before. So, yeah. Okay, I am just coming into the chat. Is there a date for the new iPhone, Note 8, and the expensives look like they said? Note 8, $950. Announcement August 26th. Launch September 15th. iPhone X. Announcement September 20th. Launch October 5th, I think it was. Sorry, October 6th. I'm not excited about the iPhone 8 or X. I have a 7S Plus because it sounds like it's getting things Android had for years. I'd rather get an S8 Plus and keep my S7 Plus. It's an interesting concept. I mean, you're still gonna get the 7S coming out as well, so keep that in mind as well. Darn, the Note 8 comes out September. I was born October. I was born in October. Now I have to be born the same month as the iPhone. Oh, well, keep in mind that it's not, it's just the 10th anniversary iPhone. It's not the original iPhone. So if that makes you feel better, you weren't born the same year as the iPhone. What would you like to see on the Gear S4? I would like to see Samsung finally get some sense in them and have two sizes, a big size and a small size. It's not that hard, Samsung. Apple did it on the first one. People were telling you to do it forever. Asus has done it. Other manufacturers companies. If you want your wearables to actually be worn by men and women, give both sizes. It's just that simple. Smaller watch face for women or guys with smaller hands. For women with bigger hands and guys who like a big watch face, guess what? They want a bigger watch face. It's just that easy. Smaller watch face, bigger watch face. That's it. That's all we need. That would be the most thing I would want to see from it. The battery life on the Gear S3 is really good, so I really have no problem with the battery life, to be honest. I would say the connectivity has had more issues comparing on the S8. I think the S8 has more issues with the Gear watches than the S7 did. That is one downside I will say. It disconnects more often. But I think that's also a problem of Nougat, because once my S7 Edge had upgraded to Nougat, I was having connectivity issues. So I don't know if it's just connectivity issues with Nougat, but they need to figure that out. Whoa. Bunch of things just loaded. How come you didn't show pics of the leaked screen protectors of the S8? Saw another video today showing the size. I didn't see that, Warren. I did not see that. I did check articles about 2 hours ago. I did not see that one specifically. So, I mean, I didn't see it. I might be covering it later this week. Who knows? When will the iPhone X be released? Like I already said that one. What would be crazy if Samsung puts a fingerprint scanner on the S Pen clicker? Just throwing it out there. That is a very interesting idea, Alex. The reason I don't think it would is because the S Pen has been amazing because it needs no battery. That would cause it to need a battery. That's why we won't see it, in my opinion. But that would be awesome. What would you do if the iPhone X is called the iPhone 8? I would say I was wrong. I am not like one of those type people like, oh, well, you know, that's what people told me and that's what I heard, so I wasn't wrong. No, I can admit if I'm wrong. It's just never happened, and I've been right 3 times. Because, see, this isn't the first time it's happened. Tech reviewers every single other year have stated, oh, this year, Apple's skipping the 5S and going straight to the iPhone 6. No, they didn't. They came out with the 5S. Apple's skipping the 6S, and this year they're coming out with the iPhone 7. No, they didn't. We got a 6S. This time around again, Apple's skipping this one, and no, they're not. They're not. They're going to have a 7. Regardless, this year, we are having a 7 and 7, a 7S and a 7S Plus. Those are coming in at normal price point. That is happening this year. What we don't know yet is the third name. That's all. What about the so-called remake of the Note 7? Because I would love that. It's called the Note FE. We talked about the release date last week. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like July 7th, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes out. But it's not coming out in every country. What was your first job? I first started working at age 13. I actually started working back then for a marketing company called Talk Me Up. Great job. I was one of those, for those of you who remember, back in my day, we had things called chats and forums and all, not forums, but like messaging chats and all that kind of stuff. So I would be one of those annoying, quote unquote, like robots, basically, that would tell everyone, hey, check out Monica's new CD, or hey, check out POD's new album and their new hit. Or hey, I remember this one promotion we promoted with McDonald's. Hey, have you checked out the new McDonald's fingerboards? This kind of stuff. Yeah, those were fidget spinners back in the day. That was my first job. I basically did internet marketing, and I try to book, like, if we had this country group, we would try to call baseball stadiums and book them for what do you call it, to sing the national anthem and all that kind of stuff. So that's what was my first job. I did that at age 13 through 16. I worked for different marketing companies, and it was great. I learned a lot at that young of an age. I learned a lot. 13 to 16, learned a lot, and I was making so much money. I mean, compared to that time, I was making $300 to $600 a month at the age of 13. I mean, that was really good money. I mean, I had way more money than all my friends when I came into high school thought I would sold drugs because I had always so much money with me. Dude, how do you have so much money? I'm like, don't worry about it, But yeah, that was my first job. Is it true that Rigsby is going to be ready for the Galaxy S9? I cannot comment on the release date for Rigsby. I can tell you that alpha testing could start as soon as this year, but we do not know yet. Rigsby, I mean, you're talking about the biggest virtual assistant, and right now the hardware is not ready for it. So we'll have to wait and see. Sorry if you already answered this. I just joined. What is the size comparison between the S8 Plus and the Note 8? The Note 8 will be 0.1 to 0.2 inches bigger than the S8 Plus. So the S8 Plus is 6.2 inches. You're looking at 6.3 or 6.4 for the Note 8. I really like using the fingerprint scanner, but it gets annoying when I have to stop and start my phone all the time. It's great for security, but it's a hassle for overall usage. I can understand that. What is your favorite phone, and do you think that phone manufacturers to make a clear body? So I think you make like a transparent body, like you can see all the internals and stuff like that. There have been hackers that have been able to do that, right? That they kind of took out all it is a film, right? If you look at this glass is like a film, so you can get like a transparent backing, basically, and then you see everything. So yeah, it is possible to even do it. But I don't think a manufacturer, a high-end manufacturer would ever do that, to be honest. And what I mean by high-end, I mean the biggest sellers. I don't think Samsung or Apple would ever do it. Could I see something like HTC doing it, or LG or ZTE? Or yeah, I could actually. It's kind of like, you can call it a publicity stunt, but it would catch people's attention and like, oh, that looks sexy. So I think it could be something really cool. And what is my current favorite phone? I would say right now is the S8 Plus. However, we're testing it out against the LG G6, and the wide angle does have its merit. So I'll go more into that later. What was the next question? Have you seen the features of Apple Watch OS 4? No, unfortunately, I do not have an Apple Watch. We did review it when the last Apple Watch Series 2 came out, but we haven't used it since. So I wasn't really using it back then. It didn't grab my attention. So we'll see if we'll get when a new Apple Watch comes out. I feel that that's when we're going to get another one. I have an S7 Edge. I don't use the fingerprint scanner. It seems I have to a hard getting it to go. So one tip for fingerprint scanners, what I do, and I just finished doing this. I did for basic users, a video on how to set up a fingerprint scanner for the LG G6. I do this. I do my top half of my fingerprint, and then I do the bottom half of my fingerprint. This way, no matter how much I touch it, whichever way I do, it'll unlock. So it's just a good kind of thing to go on, is to do one finger, two halves of it, whether that be top or bottom or left or right. Do it as two fingers, but it's only one finger, and that gives you a much better detection. Do you know when or if the Galaxy Tab S LTE will come out to phone carriers? It is available right now on Amazon, actually. You can get an LTE variant right now on Amazon for the Galaxy Tab S3 LTE, but no, I do not know when it's coming out for carriers. Currently, unfortunately, I've heard most carriers do not want the Tab S3, just simply because of the fact that we do not get that much in terms of Tab S3, higher end tablets are not selling as much anymore. Even, the reason why Apple never reported sales, now their new iPad Pros are really good, but the reason why Apple never told how many iPad Pros were sold anymore was because they weren't selling that much. The iPads have dropped down in sale quarter over quarter, and they didn't do any breakdown because they didn't want to make it look like the iPad Pro wasn't working, but when it wasn't. So again, Apple's the king of marketing, so whenever you don't see a certain product on how much they're selling, it's because they're not selling well. Heard Commandara. I do not know about the rumors about although I try to be in the know about video games, I do not know all about the video game releases coming out. I just know press releases for the most part, not the rumors. So I'm sorry, I do not know that one. Although I can tell you they're doing a lot of remakes lately. They're getting ready to be like movies kind of thing, and I think we're going to get to that point in the next 1 to 5 years. You're going to see a lot of HD remasters for modern day gaming consoles. What phones will Apple release next year? Apple next year will release the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8s. They will go back to 2 phones. This special edition phone is a one-time thing for the 10-year anniversary. I told you guys a couple of years ago, but last year actually is when it happened. iPhone said they were going to switch to a 3-year plan instead of a 2-year plan, meaning one big change, 2 small changes. That's why the 7 wasn't that much of a difference between the 6 and the 6S. If you really think about it, the 6, 6S, and 7, not too much of a difference, not a big wow factor on those. And that's what this year's phone is going to bring with the iPhone X, and then next year you're going to have an iPhone 8 that's going to look very similar, and then the iPhone 8s will be very similar, and the iPhone 9 will be the big change. Did you ever own a PS Vita? No, I borrowed a PSP, but not a PS Vita. Never did own it. Have you heard anything about the color options of the Note 8? Anyone you are looking to grab for yourself? I have not done that. I've not heard about the colors yet. As soon as I know, I'll let you know. What's your... I will not get into politics. Just one thing that I don't touch on, as it is a tech channel. Does a wireless charging phone have to have a glass back, or can it have a glass section for it to work? It cannot have metal on any part of the wireless charger. So, for instance, if the Pixel XL, right? Let me grab that. iPhone Pixel XL. Okay. So, if the Pixel XL had a wireless charger here, that would be fine. It could have a wireless charger right here. It could not in the entire metal part. So if it had a wireless charger here, that actually would work. But you cannot have any metal where the wireless charger is. That's why if you guys ever review those circle things that go on the back of a phone, like a circle metal plate, they stop wireless charging from working. Ricky, I want to send an Amazon to. I want. I just went to Amazon to get a Samsung wireless charger, and the customer review turned out to be you. Oh, that's hilarious. Yes, I have reviewed some Samsung sometimes what I do is I take my video from here and I post it on Amazon. So yeah. So Ricky, you still cool to get the Gear VR from last year now? I would not get last year's VR because just the compatibility. Well, actually, no, I changed my mind. Last year's VR at the end, the one that had the regular Type-C and the micro USB, that is fine to get from last year. That should be fine. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't get that one, but you do not want to get the regular. You want to get the dark blue version. You do not want to get any white version of a VR from now. Can Star Trek Bridge Game be played on a Gear VR? It can. Could it? Yes, it has the capability because you can communicate through online. So yeah, it could. Is it? No, not yet. Will the Note 8 be the same size as the Note 4? No, it will be narrower and taller than the Note 4. Can you change your intro? No. No, I can't. What new features will the iPhone 7s have? The iPhone 7s, so far we actually don't know too much about it. Everything we know about is for the big kahuna. The iPhone 7s we've not heard too much about, honestly, because no one cares about it that much. That's why it's not being covered. But it's just going to have small incremental upgrades. We're not talking big. We're talking, of course, the faster processor, all that kind of stuff. But the big thing is what we're wondering is, will the the hertz on the phone speed up? Like the beautiful new iPad Pros, the 120 hertz screen looks amazing. Will the 7s maybe just get that? It won't have an OLED display, but if it has that, that'll be awesome. Have you thought about reviewing Bluetooth transmitters and receivers like the Level Link or something cheaper? I've thought about reviewing Bluetooth transmitters, but it just has to be a good quality one to kind of like, oh wow, this will be good. But you know what? Actually, you convinced me actually just to put in a request right now for one. So I have seen this one, and I just put in a request for one. So there you go. OnePlus is a bad company. I won't recommend them. To each their own. I mean, for me, AOL bot. I did do some on AIM. Yes, I did the Yahoo chat rooms, the MSN chat rooms. God, MSN chat rooms, and AOL. The chat rooms are very funny from my past as a kid because that's where I learned how to type. I learned my typing skills became prevalent because of chat rooms. And that's also where I started talking to girls. I was very shy as a kid. So how I started talking to girls was through chat rooms. I learned how to talk to girls. I learned what they like. Oh, okay, they like this kind of flattery. Oh, okay, you can kind of be off-puttish. And then you know, this girl, what was it? It was FML or something like it used to like your gender, your age, and something I forgot, but it was something that you used to always say in chat, like, oh, this is how old I am, this is, and location, age, sex, location, ASL, maybe that was it, ASL. That's what you posted on group chats back in the day. AOL represent. Hell yeah, AIM was all about AIM. Although I did learn from one of my friends that you can hack in, if you know someone's AIM, you can hack into their computer and fuck with it. He did that to mine. I was so pissed at him at the end of the year. Why would Apple realize the iPhone 8 the same year as the iPhone 7s? That's why it confuses me why people call it the iPhone 8 and the iPhone X sounds badass and makes sense to be called that. I agree. I think Samsung should have a larger screen on the Note 8, like 6.7. Really? I'm sorry, I cannot agree with that. I cannot agree with a phone that big. That's just my opinion. I think 6.5. I know that's only 0.2 inches difference, but that would make a difference. I wouldn't want to do that. Hey, some people know that ASL's age, sex, and location. I remember. Okay, I have not seen that for like, oh God, I'm aging myself now, but at least over 15 years, if not 20 years. ASL. Shout out to everyone that knows that. Man, that is back in the day. Ricky, I'm going to buy an S8 Plus today, and I'd like to get a spare USB-C cable. I remember when Type-C was first launched, there were issues with compatibility and safety. I actually just reviewed it 2 days ago. Check my videos that I posted a couple days ago. I posted my new favorite USB cable for the Galaxy S8 and for the LG G6. It's a really cool 2-in-1 cable. I do not have any here, but it basically can switch between micro USB and Type-C, so that way you have... Oh wait, do I have it over here? No, I think I took it out. Yeah, I took it out. But yeah, it switches between micro USB and Type-C, so it's probably the best one to get for a spare. Will all Samsung phones adopt the S8 design language in the future? All flagships will, yes. Why the Note 3 cameras on the phone? Why not 3 cameras on the phone? Wide, normal, zoom. There is talk of phones having that next year. Wide, normal, zoom. 3 cameras. And 2 flashes. When will the LG Urbane 2 finally get Android 2.0? Look, they were supposed to get it a while back. I do not know. I don't know why. I've actually reached out to Huawei to send us their Watch 2 just so I could finally review a Apple Android Wear 2.0, because I've really wanted to give Android Wear another try. I've had Gears for the long time, and I want to try Android Wear again. Do you think the days of flat screen Samsungs are history, or will eventually put one out? I think they'll eventually put one out. I think we're going to get a mixture, and I think, you know, the bendable phone's going to be really crazy. That one's going to be insane. Rigsby will be global. Android Wear, Android rings, Android sunglasses, and for the gardener, Samsung Earth Cutter because 7. I mean, Rigsby is very exciting, guys. The greatest revelation in modern day tech. You know, you have the iPhone, the iPad, the Droid, the Galaxy, Tesla, and Rigsby. That's it. I mean, that's it. That's modern day. And Bigsby keeps going off. I said Rigsby, not Bigsby. It keeps going off. Will the Note 8 have a fingerprint scanner underneath the home button? That we do not know yet. If they had an Emperor Note 8 with 8 gigs of RAM, would it be possible to pay extra and get it here in America on launch day? No, it will not be released on launch day. Always those special edition versions of like the S8 and all those phones, they usually come out 2 weeks to a month later. Sometimes even 2 months. Do you think Samsung will ever put out a regular screen versus curved screen? Yes, I do believe they will. When will the Nexus 6P be obsolete in your opinion? Next year. Do you think Apple will make an iPad X when it comes to the iPad 10th year anniversary? If we get an iPhone X this year, yes, they will do an iPad X then. 2 different pairs of LG tones developed in the same problem. One side audio stops working. Can you suggest similar Bluetooth headphones from a brand that lasts? My favorite type of headphones for exercising, which means you don't have to worry about it getting damaged and one earpiece going out, has to be the Jaybird X3s. You can check out our review for it. The Jaybird X3s are probably my favorite fitness headphones. In terms of a design like this, with actually a band like that, there's not too many out there, and LG tones are great, but they do always have an ear that goes out. Actually, my wife currently has Zag. I know Zag is always known for more so screen protectors, but they actually have a really cool one. It has, it's actually, if you see the newest LG Surround, they got that idea from Zag. Zag actually had ones that when it went all the way in, you had speakers. So that way, if you're watching a video and you want to share it with your friend, well, then you just play it through your speakers on there, and you don't have to disconnect from Bluetooth. So yeah. Did I ever make a Max Pages web page? No, I sent, I did a Geosites webpage. Geosites webpage, which with lots of Dragon Ball Z gifs. ASL is old school, classy version. Nowadays it's send nudes. Yeah, right. How old are you? I'll tell you what. Everyone right now that's still watching, guess my age right now, and I will say my age after a couple of you've guessed. I have a S8 last year's fast wireless charger. This one works just as the new one. Yes, the only difference is, so there's a new one, so there's a lot of new ones out right now. This one is called the convertible one, so you can lay it flat or pop it up. The main difference between this one is that this one plugs in with the Type-C charger. The benefit of that, of course, is I can charge it wirelessly, but if I need to top it off quickly, this actually is the cable that I was talking about earlier. If I need to top it off quickly, well, then I can plug in this Type-C into my phone directly and then get a quicker charge. Just want to know, some of you are making me upset because of how old you think I am. God damn, 38. I don't like you. I will get to my age in a second, but 38, I don't like you. Let's see. Will LG continue the G Flex series? No, I think LG has given up on the G Flex series for now. I think they're going to come out with a new version. If this V series doesn't take off, I think you're going to see a new version come out, a flagship version that not replaces a V20 or V series, but maybe complements it. With the Note Edge, would it be worth investing in a wireless rear cover, but wireless is better charging? So yes, it would be worth it, because actually for the Note Edge, I believe they sold a wireless charging back, so you can actually get an official Samsung wireless charging back for it, and it will work. How about 143? See if you know. Oh, 143. That means I love you. 143 means I love you. Yeah. 143. I know that means I love you. Yes. I had a pager back in the day. Green pager. It looked cool. I was the coolest kid in the 8th grade with my pager. Or was it 8th grade? Yeah, I think it was 8th grade. Dude, I had AirTouch. AirTouch. Okay. Ricky, do you think Samsung will surprise everyone and put a fingerprint scanner underneath the screen on the S8, just trying to throw everyone off? I think if Samsung puts a fingerprint scanner underneath the screen, they will win. What I mean by that is they will win because not only did they have the technology, but they put it out before Apple, and then Apple is copying them. So that's the biggest thing. What's a better version of Android, 2.0 or 7.1.1? That would be an interesting versus comparison, but yeah, no, 7.1.1 would definitely be better. um, Android O release date. Android O release date is most likely going to be, unfortunately, we do not know. I would say August at the earliest, October at the latest. It's when the next Pixel will come out, and there is rumors that the Pixel could come out in October and try to capitalize as well with LG. Both of them could try to capitalize that the Note is being delayed, so that is a possibility. How do you activate Bixby voice with your voice? I can only get the push to talk button. You can set it up. I say, "Hi Bixby." And there's Bixby. Full screen. Bixby. There it is. So yeah, it's in the settings in Bixby. It's in the settings. How come you smiled when you were asked what colors the Note will have? Are you sure you don't know? Maria, you have to learn how to trust me, okay? If I say I don't know, I just don't know. Okay, 38 and 40, you're messed up, all right? That's why I just want you to know. I'm gonna have to cry to my wife in a second. Over 9,000 years old. Okay, you get points just for knowing the 9,000, but still. All right. How old am I? First of all, screw most of you, because almost every one of you said I was older than I am. So, yeah, that's messed up. I am 30 years old. I will turn 31 this year. So, let's see. Did anyone get that? Shorty boy, you got 30. And that is it. One person guessed my age. One person guessed my age. Joe Banny. Oh, Joe Banny, you did so many guesses. Because at one point you actually did get 31. But the only one person got my age. Yeah, the chat did blow up as soon as I said what my age was. I have always looked older though, especially when I grow this out. I will tell you this. I look like a teenager when I shave this off, which is why you will never see me with it shaved off. I hate the way I look without my mustache. Let me put it this way. I've had a mustache since 8th grade. And I look like a little baby boy without it. And ever since I've had it, I've always thought... I've had people, when I was 16, I got hit on by a 25-year-old girl. I mean, it's just... I've always looked older. But damn, that 40? What the hell? I'm gonna cry to my wife after about that. Haha, pager was green as well. You know, if you didn't have a pager, that was what was in. All right. Camera question, please. How does the dual camera work? So, dual cameras, there's two different philosophies in a dual camera. And here are them. So, how dual cameras work is this. This side of the dual camera, you have a regular camera and a wide angle camera. You get a regular shot and a much wider shot without needing to back up. Great for landscape shots and when you travel. That's when you want this one. This one. This is a telephoto and a regular one. So wide telephoto or zoom. This one can zoom in without losing quality. Now, with both of these, you can do this effect where you blur out the background and get a clearer shot. However, right now with the telephoto, we only have a 2x. Samsung on the Note 8 is going to have a 3x, which will be much better and a much better zoom, and that's going to be awesome. Do you think Apple should make a 7C this year? In my opinion, Apple should have continuous C-series phones of the iPhone. Pretty popular with the kids. Apple will not have a C again. It actually was not really well received and it didn't sell that well. The S series took over. So if anything else, they might have like a 6S or a 7S Not a 7. Sorry, not a S. A SE. So like the 5 SE when it came out, it might have like they might have a 6 SE or something like that. Rigsby is timeless. It can't be measured in years, only in epicness. That's awesome. You're gonna be my PR person. Ricky, it's because you don't have much in life. People think you must be old and have achieved all of that. Not because you look old. Thank you for trying to cover that up. Note 8 colors, but not green. Dream Note 8 colors, but not green. Green, as you know, would be my favorite color that the Note 8 would be. I want a coral blue again. I love the coral blue. I like that idea. I don't know what your guys' color would be, but yeah. I did not say 53. I said 30. Jesus. 53. I'm gonna shave my beard tomorrow. No, Ricky, even if Samsung beat Apple to the fingerprint scanner underneath the screen, Samsung would have copied Apple. I guess Samsung would have used a chime machine again. Well, here's the thing. It's all about perception. Whoever releases it first counts. Point being, even when Samsung was accused of copying Apple, Samsung already had announced their phone. And we're talking about on the before the Galaxy S, there was a Galaxy phone that looked like the iPhone, and that was the one that went to trial, and that Apple said that Samsung copied them. To give you an idea, Samsung had already announced that phone, but they hadn't released it yet. So Apple released the iPhone first, and then Samsung came out with their phone. Everyone said Samsung copied them. So that's the whole idea. Do you think the iPhone 8 will have a screen as good as the S8? I think if the iPhone X or iPhone 8 or whatever it was going to be called has a 120 hertz display, it could be better. There is a strong possibility that Apple could beat Samsung in the one category they've always been better than. But here's the thing that we don't know right now. What if Samsung comes out with a 120 hertz display on the Note 8? That would be epic. And that would put them on a map above everyone else. To have an OLED display with the 120 hertz screen, that would be amazing. So much for putting a telephoto or telephoto lens on the Note 8, right? No, they're putting a telephoto lens. It's going to be a 3x zoom telephoto lens on the Note 8. When does Bixby come out for the S8 Plus? My guess is it'll come out at the end of July or beginning of August. Coral blue is fine, got it. I feel your pain with age guessing wrong. Always get guessed for being 10 years older than I am, but I work for no ID checks. Yeah, that's true. I almost never got carded when I was younger. Alright guys, we have gone an hour and a half, so I'm going to wrap this up and call it a show. Thank you for all the engagement tonight, all of the talks. It was a really awesome show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give that like, thumbs up down below. And hey, I know I ask this sometimes, but I always appreciate when you guys retweet this out or send this out on your social media, and we try to get more subscribers and try to get more viewers. I'm really trying to go all in this year with YouTube. So if it pays off, could I have this as my full-time job? Maybe. Alright guys, thank you as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.